Hello, my honeys. This is Kamara with the Black Dove Oracle, and welcome to your pick a card reading on your inner alchemy, understanding your sacredness within. This was a special collaboration of subscribers to this channel. And I want to thank you all. And I put a little slide up here because I really wanted to thank these folks in my community for helping me to come up with a very cool, very powerful theme for this reading. So, giving thanks to all of you. And this reading, it's going to be deep, you all. I don't know how I know. I just kind of done the oracle cards, but I think it's going to be pretty deep. And it's very timely too, because we're heading into an eclipse at the time that I am recording this reading, although it is timeless. So whenever you read it, whenever you hear it, rather, it will be your message. But this is a shift, a change. Many of this energy is Libra around the eclipse, and this we have a new moon happening as well. So there's just a lot happening in the sense of like us looking at ourselves relationally. And that can be romantic relationships, it could be platonic relationships, it could be those relationships of work colleagues or fellow students, whatever your situation, family, community. So don't be surprised if those themes kind of come up in these readings. I do think that as a collective, we are shifting, we are growing and expanding. And I hope these readings are helpful. I hope these readings are something that you can utilize in your everyday life. If you are a subscriber here, thank you for joining me again for these readings, and thank you for being patient. I have some seasons of my work is busier than others, so sometimes that takes me away from recording readings. But thank you for coming back, and thank you for supporting this channel. And if you're brand new here, welcome. We do some deep dives here, and I would love for you to be a part of my community. If you like this reading at the end, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, or if you like the way that I read and you want to stay connected, please consider subscribing to this channel. We have more coming up in terms of looking at our dreams, and we're going to be starting to do some of that work very soon, I promise. And thank you for sharing your dreams too. I'm really loving it. As I read through them, I'm trying to decide how are we all going to be able to get together and do this dream work. So all of that is coming up in a couple of announcements. But let's get to your pick a card. So you can choose a pick a card in a number of different ways on this particular channel, because I love doing that. There's the artwork at the beginning of this reading, and then there are these three groups, as well as you can use the timestamps in the description box. Some people like to use the numerology there. I'm also going to just give you a moment, because some people said, I'd like a moment to just kind of look at these images as well. So if you want to stop the video at this moment and just kind of take a look. And I'm also going to show you. Group number 1 is the Olmec Diviner. Group number 1. Group number 2 is the Psychopomp. Psychopomp. I love that word. And group number 3 is the Orca Shaman. That's group number 3. So in whatever way your intuition guides you, it may guide you to one of these readings, it may guide you to 2 or more, all of them. Either way, there's messages here for you, and I thank you so much for the opportunity to read for you. I'm very grateful for everyone that supports this brand new channel. Thank you so much, and let's head to your readings. Take care, my honeys. Hello, group number 1. This is Kamara with the Black Dove Oracle. Thank you for joining me for this pick a card. And the title of this pick a card is Your Inner Alchemy and Understanding Your Sacredness Within. So I want to thank the subscribers that helped me come up with the idea for this reading because I believe it's truly deep. And so we're going to dive into your reading, group number 1. You chose the Alchemist Diviner. And this is a special deck. I really love this deck. It's called Ancient Ritual Postures. And this deck was done, I believe, by an anthropology or a student or anthropologist. They may not be a student. But my understanding is that based on their research of different ancient postures, and postures, as you know, are like seating positions maybe, or positions we take with our bodies. There's something about these postures in ancient artwork, when you look at different statues, even the Kemetic Egyptian statues, when they're sitting with their hands placed flat down on their lap. I was even told that was a meditation position. So to understand that our ancient ancestors were some deep-ass people, y'all. And I don't think with our current mind we can really touch into just the vastness of their world back then, even though it was much simpler. Doesn't mean that it was less engaging or less, less stimulating to the intelligence. I mean, there's a lot of assumptions that have happened throughout anthropology, history, and it's important that we now reconnect with our indigeneity. And indigenous people are part of every culture. And it's important to understand those ancient wise ways. They really do help in this life. They really do help you navigate. But, let me get off my soapbox and read you, because I read through this, and they give a little poem in this deck, the book. And I thought I would read it to you because it's so beautiful. So if you want to, one idea right now is to get comfortable wherever you're sitting while you're listening to this. Hopefully you're not driving or something. But if you want to sit down and maybe just get comfortable, close your eyes, and just tune into your natural breath as I read this. Nothing else to do. Just take it in. I am the one they call the Alchemist Diviner. Come sit with me in this liminal space between thought and silence. Come sit with me in the golden light that streams through the structures of your mind. Who you believe yourself to be is not who you are. Who you believe yourself to be is a patchwork of memory, dots of the past connected by stories. Come sit with me and let the golden light stream through. These stories will, and you will discover who you really are. 5 is a magic number that portends destruction, the necessary collapse of whatever you have embedded in concrete. Hoping it would not move or change, but everything changes. It is time for rigid structures to break down so that you can see clearly, so that you may transform. Come sit with me and ask your questions, and we will let the golden light illuminate the truth. And so the Olmec Diviner is reminding you of times in your life, group. Oh, my little candle is just escaping here. I'm just noticing that. We'll put him over here. I think that happened, and I was like, Spirit kept saying, don't you want to put something underneath that candle? And I was all like, I'm sure it's going to burn really slow. You see, I don't always listen to Spirit too, but they be trying to help. I don't know, maybe I should pause this and get something to go underneath it. One moment, you all. Okay, I think I took care of it, you all. Spirit was like, this candle's gonna burn quick for one group. We'll see. It's burning quick, but it smells so good, you all. It's beeswax, but I can smell the hints of honey in it. It's very soothing, very nice. So let's get back to what I was saying about the Olmec Diviner. I think the Olmec Diviner reminds you of a time in your life when you noticed how sweet the truth could taste. So group number one, the Olmec Diviner is calling you to a particular truth that I'm getting is something that you've always wanted to know about. Something that has always been maybe a curiosity to you or a mystery to you. I'm getting for some of you, because this reading is on your inner alchemy, right? And alchemy is about how we transmute something, how we change something, how something is transformed. And there's something about your story, group number one. And this Olmec Diviner is asking you, who in your life will support you as you let more of your light illuminate the truth of who you are? See, the truth, I feel like Spirit is pointing me to this candle because Spirit is saying to me clearly, the truth, group number one, is like honey. Very interesting. Because when we think of honey, we're drawn to it, right? Maybe the picture of the bear that goes towards the bee's hive to get that precious golden gift. Spirit is saying to me here, and I'm kind of channeling right now before we get into the oracle cards, that group number one, the truth of who you are is the honey of your life. It's going to be the sweetness of your life. It will continue to bring you more sweetness. The more authentic you are, the more that you show people exactly who you are with being unafraid, you are going to attract them like honey. That's what Spirit is saying. Maybe some of you are experiencing quieter moments in your social circle. I know that I am. And maybe you're needing to make new friends. Maybe you are even craving partnership. Whatever's happening for you, group number one, Spirit is clearly saying, your light, your personality, your soul even, your essence is like honey. Your group is like honey. Okay. So in this reading, we are going to ask a few questions with the oracle cards, and then we will answer more questions with some of the tarot, doing some tarot pulls. But the first question is, who is your alchemical guide for this journey? And how are you going to connect with them? So the Olmec Diviner is your cosmic and alchemical guide for this journey. And you'll notice in that little poem, it said, sit with me. Sit with me. So in a way, group number one, your diviner is saying you may want to spend some time with this energy in silence, maybe journaling even, whatever way that you do a meditative process, because that can look different for a lot of people, right? I mean, some people, well, the Buddha said you could do meditation in, I think, 4 ways. And, there's still a number of ways that you can meditate, even if you're just sitting by a tree, by a stream, in front of the ocean. But you can walk, you can sit, you can lie down. And some of us even meditate while we move, right? The whirling is it the whirling devas or deshvas? I'm not pronouncing that right, but I'm thinking of those beings, the beings that wear the hats and they twirl around. So I'm quite sure they're in a meditative state of some sort. So that is how you're going to connect with this Olmic diviner, through whatever way that you connect with your inner self and your spiritual self. And so the next question is, what lies dormant inside of you? And Spirit is like, because we came up with the questions and I was like, oh, okay, well, I think all of these cards are going to answer at some point. But what lies dormant inside of you it's called Chinnamasta. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. I'm like, is it Chinnamasta or Chinnastama? I don't know. But Chinnastama, and I'll try to remember to maybe write this in the description box, but the mantra is Om Hum Savaha Om. So I don't know if I'm even pronounced that right, but Chimasta is the headless goddess, a goddess of radical self-transcendence. So alchemically, group number one, you are waking up to your radical self, to radical pleasure even. You are learning in this alchemical process, whether it's now or upcoming, group number one, you are going to turn your passion into spiritual energy. They call it Kundalini. When your Kundalini is rising. And if you don't know what Kundalini is, it's like a energy of force that runs throughout your body. And you may have to research it more because I'm not going to give you the full, academic answer, but it's an energy in your body, and it's said that at some moments in people's lives, this energy, it rises, it takes hold of you, and it activates. So in many ways, Chamanista is pointing, group number one, to your fierceness, to being in your divine energy. It's really pointing to your power, the power that is igniting inside of you. Some of you may actually experience this as a surge of energy in your body. And people have described Kundalini awakenings as if you're feeling on fire inside. It's almost like Spirit is saying your passion ignites. And what are your next steps in this development? The waxing crescent moon. So group number one, the waxing crescent moon, when the moon is in this phase, it's really talking about what's beneath the surface, right? It's almost as if that light is trying to peek under the darkness. And in your next phase of where you're carrying this this true initiation of fire and power, you're going to need to look at the roots of the seeds that you have planted in your life, group number 1. You're going to need to look at all of the growth that's happened from the obstacles, from the negative patterns. Look at your growth, celebrate that growth, and then focus on what it is that you want to accomplish going forward. And know that you can't sit here and there's a little bit of a warning with this sign, the crescent moon. Don't overwater your garden. It may mean, and I'm taking this meeting as group number 1, make sure that you definitely want to feel into your decisions, but you may want to pull back emotionally on those decisions. Make sure that you're seeing things clearly, because during this eclipse period that I'm doing this reading in, if you're listening during this time, during eclipse season, it is advised that you look at things from a sense of, in some ways, practical. That's what I'm hearing, because the overwatering of the garden can come when you're too attached emotionally, but it's preventing you from seeing something factual. So in terms of a next step, I'm hearing from Spirit, you need to balance things out a little bit. Make sure the decisions that you're making, because you are going to be excited about this change. Group number 1, you are going to be like, finally, life. You know what I mean? And I don't know in what areas your life is kind of having this alchemical growth, but you're going to be so excited. You're going to want to do all the things. And I think Spirit here is just saying, yes, be in that excitement, be in that flow, but also do things practically that will take your dreams step by step to the next level. So what could increase this power of yours, this alchemical light power of yours? You got 2 cards from this deck. Pachamama, all right? It says, she with the Andrian emerald heart. Isn't that stunning? And then you got Mama Kila, and it says mandala of the moon. That's beautiful too, isn't it? This deck, because I think I heard someone say, what deck is that? This deck is Earth Warriors Oracle. So how are you going to increase this power? How are you going to grow this power, group number 1? Well, Pachamama, like they said, she's the Andean goddess of the earth. I think she wants to say to you to remain open to what's new, what's different, what's coming towards you. I really get a sense, group number 1, that your life is, if you come back to this video next year, you're going to be like, oh, my life is totally different. And I really do feel for many of you, your life is going to shift like that. You may end up living somewhere different, being with a different partner. You may have a new project or take your career in a completely different direction. There's a lot of things here. And Mama Kila, the mandala of the moon, this is our lunar mother. And her mandala is sacred. It's a sacred portal. And in this portal, we can explore our dreams. We can make intentions. And when we do those things, Mama Kila is reminding you to stay in your divine feminine mystery, regardless of your gender. The divine feminine has a mysterious energy to it, and you're being guided to stay in that energy. Stop doubting yourself. Stop bringing up random concerns. Instead, relax and trust your creativity, which will allow for you to be in your flow and your prosperity. Someone out there is an artist of some sort, and maybe you've been doubting something that you've been doing lately. You've been wondering how it's going to be received, if it will be received. And Spirit is saying, be in your flow. You know what you're doing. How it's received, don't let that be the reason why you're creating. Don't let that be the foundation of your work. Create from a different energy. That's what I'm hearing from Spirit. And you will get back into the flow. You will get back into your prosperity. There's something here, and I don't know why this is so specific, but Spirit is saying to someone who's an artist, do not create for the client. Create from your life force. Create from who you are. And if you are not an artist, you may be creating a number of things in your life. Whether you're creating a program, whether you're creating a brand new business, create it from your soul. Create it from that place of self-transcendence. Be in Pachamama energy, okay? And I'm going to pause it so that you can screenshot this. Okay? Because right now, your guides are saying you have ancestors in one corner, you have spirit in another, you got your animal guides in another, you've got your earth guides. I mean, you are clearly surrounded by support group number 1. And Spirit is saying here, if someone doesn't receive you or receive this gift that you're offering, it's not for them. Plain and simple. Because Spirit is saying whatever you're creating, it has power. It is here to even establish you. Help you blow up in some cases. Okay? All right. So let's go to the tarot cards and just see what other messages does Spirit have for you, group number 1. This is powerful. I'm so excited for your change. I had to take a sip of water there. I was almost going to have a coughing fit. All right, I don't know what that's about. It's all the excitement. So you got Queen of Cups here. She came out reversed, and I'm asking Spirit, is she really reversed? Let's see. Yeah, I think she is. Because Spirit is saying here, this is your natural energy, group number 1, Queen of Cups. You're someone who's compassionate. You have a lot of warmth. Your intuition's on fire. But in this current moment, there's a little insecurity. Maybe you're even paying too much to what other people think. Maybe you're seeking a little outside validation. Do you think this is good work? You don't think it's good work? And Spirit is saying, hold your own counsel. Yeah. You have a gift to give the world. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say the world. I was going to say your community. But you have a gift to give the world, group number 1. Whatever you are working on, and if you can't share it, please put it in the comments if it's something you want us all to energetically support, because I believe in that. But you, my friend, group number 1, you have a gift. And it's a gift that will help people lift up, even, I'm hearing in some cases, out of poverty. You are helping people maybe learn a skill that they can take and they can build their life on. That's for some of you. You have a gift just to give humanity through the things that you see, the things that you write about, the things how you dance about, different topics. There's something you're creating, group number 1. It's a gift. But you can't. You know, Five of Swords is just an interesting card, reading to reading. I believe this is you holding the swords, group number 1. And what that's about is sometimes, and you all let me know if it resonates, sometimes when you're an artist or sometimes when you're creating something new, you're getting ready to launch something, there's a lot of fear that happens. What if people take my idea? What if people decide to take my idea and run with it and maybe become more popular with that idea than I do? You know, those are thoughts and those things can happen. But I'm seeing here, group number 1, that, let me see what Spirit's saying to that. What do you want to say to this Five of Swords, Spirit? Yeah, that if you remain in this energy of fear around your creativity or something you're creating, you will not reap the beauty, the absolute satisfaction that you would have from other people loving your work, for loving what you're bringing forward, for being so grateful in gratitude for your gift. And I gotta say this, group number 1, some gifts, we're the only ones that can really give them. You know, other people can copy, other people can, you know, do some of the same things you're doing, but you're uniquely you. And that you has been gifted by the universe to present something to your fellow human beings, to, in some cases, make their lives much better. Yeah. Spirit is saying, even though this card came out in reverse, allow yourself to be in the sun. Allow yourself to be visible. Allow yourself to talk about your ideas. Because Spirit is saying, you may have waited, and that might have been good while you were in the planning phase, but something about some of you, you're ready. It's time for you to get off the pot. And it's time for you to talk about your ideas, talk about what you've created, show people, read people, sing to people, dance. I don't know what you're doing, group number 1, but it's time. It's time. Let us know who you are and what you're about, because we're excited. We're excited for this work you're doing. Any final messages, Spirit, before we close this out? Yeah. Spirit is saying that this could be your outcome. A community, a celebration, maybe even a partner, and that could be platonic, work, or romantic, that is going to help you celebrate this time in your life. That's what's coming towards you. I get that this could either be one person or more people, but there's a celebration coming if you decide to blossom and let that blossom be seen, group number 1. If not, you could very well feel unsupported. But that unsupport will not be true unsupport. It's unsupport because no one knows what you're doing. So Spirit is saying you get to decide how this card gets to land. upright, I hope, because you truly deserve it, group number 1. I get a sense that you are a very powerful creator, and I would love to see your work. If you have a website, please put it in the comments. If you have a YouTube channel, please let me know what it is so that I can support you. Honestly, I love supporting other readers. If you're a reader, if you are a spiritualist, if you're an artist, whoever you are, I would love to support you. Please tell me what your channel is, or your TikTok, or your Instagram. I'm on all those things and different personalities. But I would love to connect with you. And maybe others who are in this reading would love to too. Okay, group number 1. If you have resonated with any of this reading, I would love if you can give me a thumbs up. It is a way that I can grow this brand new channel. And again, if you like the way that I read, if you feel like you want to stay connected, please subscribe and click that bell, because you will get notified when I upload new readings, and that's usually once a week. Okay, thank you so much. Hello, group number 2. I'm Kamara, and welcome to the Black Dove Oracle, and thank you for joining me here for this pick a card. This pick a card will be on your inner alchemy, understanding your sacredness within. So, as I predicted, these readings are going deep. Group number 1 was really deep. So if you were drawn to it, hey. But the psychopomp, group number 2, you were drawn to the psychopomp. And the psychopomp is I don't know why my fingernails are getting in the way here. A psychopomp is a guide that guides you when you cross over into the worlds. Very interesting. I think when you pull or you're attracted to the psychopomp, it's asking you, where in your life are you resonating with the straight and simple lines? Where in your life can you just deal with what is? Where in your life are you pulsating with life, with color and movement? Where do you feel that in your body? How do you connect with the oneness of who we all are? And how do you connect with concepts of home? The psychopomp, in many ways, when we cross over, is bringing us to our new home. I'm channeling right now for you, group number 2, that your inner alchemy, your understanding of your own sacredness, will take place in your home. And I don't mean your literal home, but in the place where you feel the most comforted, the most supported, the most seen, the most understood. I think those qualities will become a home for you. And for many of you, or some of you, it may be that those qualities exist in a physical place. It may mean that for some of you, you find a new job that actually doesn't begin to feel like a job. It feels like a community. Now, don't let people tell you it's that before you actually experience it. But for others of you, you may move to a different neighborhood and discover that. Others of you, you may go to school and discover that. For some of you, you may move out of the country and discover that. But let me read you what it says in the guidebook for Psychopomp. And it's a beautiful, this guidebook for this deck, by the way, was created, I believe, by anthropologists, but the guidebook, it has these really beautiful kind of like poems, guided imagery. So I invited group number 1 to relax and just take in what I'm about to read, and I'm going to invite you to group number 2 to get comfortable in your seat if you're able to. Maybe close your eyes and connect with your natural breath. And just take in what I'm reading here for Psychopalm. I am the one known as the Psychopalm, the one who guides the souls of those who have died, helping them to find their way across the great divide, across the river that separates the living from the dead. Look more closely. You will see that despite the apparent differences, the straight and the simple lines of the underworld, aside the rigorous color and the movement of the land of the living, despite the apparent differences, the essence is the same. The core of pulsing life is consistent in all things, living and dead, because life is of the one, the absolute. Sometimes dormant, sometimes fiercely vibrating into form and color and movement, but still it is all one, all the same. I am the Psychopalm who takes you across the great divide into the next place, the beyond, a place we half remember, the place we visit in our dreams and meditations, this place that all will always be home. Through me, you can be a guide for those who are leaving the land we know as living, and helping them find their way across the great divide. In helping, you will learn to find your way as well. So the one day that you make the crossing yourself, discovering that the living or the dying is still all one, all the same. Now, if you were listening, group number 2, I think you caught that word, home. For some of you here, and this may be very specific, you work with the dying. You may work in hospice, you may be in oncology, you may be a nurse, you may be any other kind of doctor. You may be a healer. You may even be a death doula or a death midwife. And if any of those careers or callings sound warm to you, group number 2, that might be your future work in some area, helping people to transition from this living life into their next life. We call it dying, but spirit just calls it a different place on the wheel. Some of you might be spiritualists, because this work, it encompasses everything, right? It is life work. Death is even life work. One of my very first practicum in school was at a hospice, and was some of the deepest, most rewarding work that I did. And I can tell in this group that there's either that literal sense of connecting life and death, or maybe even in the most symbolic sense, you'll be doing this. For some of you, you may work in sober programs, programs for people who are trying to manage their addictions, manage their substance use. And that work even is about life and death. It's about a major life transition, changing from a state in which one feels enraptured to a state in which one feels more embodied. That was a death-like process. So don't underestimate. Some of you that are listening to this group are thinking, is this my group? But look at your work. Zoom out on it. Zoom out on your, the things that you do in life. Are you helping people shift a mindset? Are you helping people leave behind one part of their life that wasn't working for them and coming into a life that helps them to thrive? You may do that as a teacher. You may do that as a gym trainer. You can do this work. But Spirit is saying here, work number 2, that whatever work you are doing, it is part of your inner alchemy. It is going to help you understand your own sacredness. So we have 4 questions we're answering with this reading. And the psychopomp actually is your guide for this journey. And how are you going to connect with this psychopomp? I don't know why this psychopomp just wants to stay right on the table. Connecting with this psychopomp is answering those questions that were presented earlier. How do you identify with being one with everything and everyone around you? How do you identify and understand death? How do you understand the sacred will of life? Those are some things that will help you connect with the psychopomp. So the next question is, what lies dormant inside of you? What lies dormant inside of you is Sahasrara. Sahasrara is hold on for 1 second, because I think I mixed the card, but I don't know if I did or not. Okay, that's my own thing. But Sahasrara is your crown chakra. So there may be something in terms of downloads or intuition that you want to pay attention to, group number 2, because you will be receiving some kind of messages. But I think they're dormant inside of you because you're being called to awaken them, to listen to them. So in many ways, you're going to need to listen. I keep hearing that word. But they're already inside of you too. Spirit is saying, some of us on the spiritual realm, we are like sleeper agents. We have already been encoded, group number 2, with our assignment, with our divine inner wisdom. So it is up to us in this life, when we land here on this earth, in this vehicle they call a body, we have to train in it to understand and get to our inner mission, get to our divine wisdom. So that's what's dormant inside of you. It doesn't mean it's dead. Or does it? Because dead and living is the same, right? So let's go to the blessings of Camus. So the blessings of Camus. This is about, Camus is a Hawaiian teacher. And Camus in the Hawaiian language means the universal wisdom. So in Camus energy, it says here, no good thing shall be withheld. And I'm going to just pause this. These cards have such beautiful, powerful art if you want to screenshot it. So, and there's number 9 here. Spirit is saying, take a look at this card for a minute. There's a lot of inner work that you will be doing, group number 2. A lot of ritual and ceremony. If that's not what you were thinking about doing, Spirit is suggesting, or maybe even saying that that's work that will be coming up for you. Some of you may even be participating in ceremonies or rituals. I want to say in the desert or a mountainous area. Could be the Andes, because the Andes keep coming up in a few of these cards. So Peru. Some of you may be taking a trip there. Some of you may have even coming back from a trip there. Something significant is going to happen in this ceremony. It's going to put you in contact with your spiritual self, but it's also going to put you in contact with, I'm hearing, an old ancestor who was a healer, who was a guide for people. So this is specific, but for some of you, you have someone in your family that used to do this work. And when I say this work, it could be mortuary work. It could be like actual shamanic work of some sort, or medicine work. You may have someone in your family that has done this type of ushering in. For many of you, you are going to be initiated into some kind of medicine work or shamanic work, and it may have to do with your culture. Even if it doesn't have to do with your culture, you will be reaching in and connecting with some divine, ancient powers that will be teaching you. The owl may be a symbol for some of you, as well as the panther, as well as the butterfly. Some of you would benefit from either coloring or making mandalas as a way of relaxing yourself and also grounding yourself. I'm hearing that randomly. What could, so this is just ways in which you could develop yourself. Group number 2. And lastly, what would increase your light power? You've got the 10th house. Very interesting. Because that 10th house is Capricorn. Some of you might be in Capricorn energy. You may have Capricorn prominent in your chart. The ruler of that house is also, the planetary ruler is Saturn. So some of you may have actually have Saturn in your 10th house. Like it may even be positioned there. It doesn't have to be. It's also an earth sign. Saturn in the 10th house, it's a house of work. This is your career. This is your dream job. This is your social status. This is how people see you through the work that you do. And it's on the midheaven, the 10th house. So this is where you shine. This is where people see you for who you are and what you do. So you, in this sense, group number 2, you are being called to not be afraid of this shift that's happening for you, of this work that you're doing. It puts you a little bit, I want to say something about death work, I want to say this about death work. Death is a thing that many people fear, but it is also something that will happen to all of us. And in doing this work, you won't always be seen as someone that people want to see. But they're always happy you're there. They're always happy you're there. And I hope you understand when I say that. People don't always want to be in that energy of death and life and transition. But when you're there, you somehow make it okay. You somehow help them to understand the shifts, the changes. You're very powerful, group number 2. And I think your power comes through your compassion. Because this is compassion work, right? We're down to one flame on my candle that burns so quickly. But I'm glad that flame is still here for you. Because I think this understanding of who you are, group number 2, is vast. And Spirit is saying here, yeah, look at that. You've got Page of Swords. Yeah. It's a time to be curious about yourself. This life that you're living, it's going to be a little unusual, this work. But it is divine. It's guided. And it's coming maybe after a time that you maybe didn't always feel like you knew where you were going in life. And then I feel like you just stumble upon this work, okay? Spirit is like, and this too. When you stumble upon this work, that's so funny, because at the last minute in group number 1, there was like an indication that if they continued on with their work, they would meet someone. So here it is again. You, group number 2, this work, it's going to bring a lot of love into your life. And I don't mean just from one partner. I mean from the people that you support. You will be held, you will be loved for the love that you give. There's just a lot of love here. It's a lot of mushiness. It's just, people really honor you, group number 2. And if you don't feel that now, or you're not doing something right now, or you're getting ready to head into it, it's coming. This is the alchemical change. And this is something you've got to understand about yourself. You're a deep diver. And your work in this world is deep diving. Underworld work. And there's only very specific people who do underworld work. Let me tell you. When I worked at the hospice, you meet your colleagues, you're like, oh yeah, we all might be different on certain levels, but we're all a little bit the same underneath it all. So this is where I'll leave you. Spirit did say to look at the bottom of the deck, 4 of Wands. It will bring a really beautiful, lovely community into fruition for you, group number 2. Very happy for you. Because I think you have been searching for where you're going to land, right? Where you're going to find this home. It's here. So group number 2, if you have resonated with any or parts of this reading, would you mind giving me a thumbs up? And if you like the way that I read and you want to stay connected, please consider subscribing to this channel. And if you click that bell, you get notified when I upload new readings, which is usually once a week. Thank you, my honeys. Take care. Hello, group number 3. This is Kamara with the Black Dove Oracle. I want to thank you for joining me here for this pick a card reading. This pick a card is on your inner alchemy and understanding of your sacredness within. And I want to thank my subscribers who gave me so many suggestions that linked together, and I just put them all into one reading. So thank you so much. And in this reading, we are going to be answering with these oracle cards first. Who is your alchemical guide for this journey? And how will you connect with this guide? Then we're going to answer what lies dormant inside of you. And then next, what are your next steps in your development? And then lastly, what will increase your light power? And then we'll do some tarot pulls at the end. So Group number 3, you chose the Orca Shaman. And I invited group number 1 and 2 to just participate in a short kind of guided imagery or guided meditation, because in the guidebook for this particular deck are some very beautiful invocations. And so I thought I would read the one for Orca Shaman. I don't know why that was a difficult 2 words to say. And if you want to get comfortable where you are, if you can participate in this, just taking a moment to be in your seat, maybe even relax your body, take off your glasses, close your eyes, go within, and just listen to me for a few seconds, maybe a minute. I am the one called the Orca Shaman. The Haida are my people. We live on these islands, the Haida Gai, for 14,000 years. The orcas are older yet. They are our teachers. Standing in this pose, with dorsal headdress, a spirit mask on my apron, I change into a huge body, black and white. With slippery skin, sleek in the water, I become the orca, breathing the breath, then diving deep, capable of killing and cavorting, wise in the ways of only ancient ones comprehend. Prepare yourself, become the orca well, breathe and dive deep, grow wise in the ways only ancient ones comprehend. So group number 3, only the ancient ones comprehend. Your Orca Shaman is inviting you, group number 3, in this lifetime to connect with your power animal. Because this power animal has ancient origins. And in some way you are being called to connect with that. Maybe even for some of you in a past life, you came from a culture that was oceanic. And maybe for some of you, you have ties to the orca. You know, like maybe for some of you, this is your spirit animal, or maybe somehow you're always drawn to this animal. Orcas, I think, I haven't heard lately, but I remember just a few months ago, they were sinking yachts, and all these yacht owners were like, we have to do something about these orcas. And people were like, no, the orcas are just playing. But other people were like, no, the orcas are taking out these over-consuming rich people. I don't know. Some people thought the orcas were protesting. Either way, you're being called to connect with this guide, group number 3. There's a message there for you. What's dormant inside of you? And let's see. Let's keep going. Krishna. Krishna is the god of compassion and love, rapture. I think when you get Krishna energy, it's about realizing love is greater than passion. Love is greater than that. It's more than that. Krishna is like the representative or the symbolism or the representative of really unconditional love. You have unconditional love as your dormant power inside of you. And then you have this orca is talking about your ancient origins, or your connection to this being of ancient origins, who has been known to fight, who's been known to play, who's been known to be a guardian of the waters. I gotta let you know, group number 3, it took me like 2 or 3 times to start this particular reading. Like, one was a technical issue. It was just like kind of a little bit weird. So I noticed that some part of your message, it's may be hard for you to hear. Krishna could also speak to a loss of trust. A loss of trust in the divine. A loss of trust in the Dharma. Spirit is saying to uplift this. Quinte. And Mercury. Group number 3, Quinte, it's an Andes. Goddess, sweet paradox of empowering grace. Let me show this to you. The hummingbird is very prominent here. So, Quinte. The mind says no, but the heart says yes. Ripe for transmission of empowering grace. Allowing yourself to be in wonder, unlimited power of the divine. Alchemically, group number 3, all the signs are pointing to the fact that you are here for a reason. You have a purpose. And there's something lately that maybe you are thinking, why am I here? Why am I in this life? But there is a purpose for you, group number 3. You are part of a sacred plan, a divine promise, a prayer for courage, for strength, for confidence. And there's something about this Mercury energy, because Mercury is seen as the messenger. It's known to be the messenger because it really is a planet that kind of governs our communication. And it's really interesting that while I'm filming this, we're in Mercury in retrograde. Mercury in retrograde, just simply, if you're not into all the astrology, it means that when this planet is kind of retrograding, in the sense is that communications may be off, they may be misunderstood, they may be down, like you may not be able to reach people you want to reach, or there may be miscommunications, like you thought somebody said something, you weren't sure. There's a lot of that. And then there's also, the typical breakdown of communication tools like your cell phone or your computer or whatever. But Mercury is also known as the messenger. And for you, group number 3, I see that the Orca Shaman is pointing you to a time in your life where you are going to have to make a stand. And you may be, I'm hearing this specifically for some of you, being called in that direction already by others. Maybe you're in a leadership position, or maybe you're in a position where you could be a leader. There may be people calling upon your bravery, your skill. And what's alchemically happening inside of you is to understand that this is all part of a divine plan that's already in motion, group number 3. Some of us, Life is like a stream, and wherever we step in it becomes our timeline. And there's something here where Spirit is showing me, group number 3, you've stepped into a stream recently. For some of you, that means like you might have spoken about something. You may have talked about something. Maybe even on your social media, you posted about something. A topic that you're really concerned about. Maybe a topic that is really close to your heart. And I think that this topic is going to be your work. It's going to be the thing that you, with Mercury here, you will begin to receive invitations to talk more about this topic. You're going to connect with people who also think this topic is important. And in this, you're going to start connecting with these mercurial people because you're going to start having very deep conversations. And some of this, I don't know why I'm hearing the word policy. Maybe you're going to be working with government policy, NGO policy, whatever it is. Group number 3, I'm sorry, maybe 2's got something for you. Group number 3, I don't know why your information is slowly coming. Maybe there's some aspects of this that won't be revealed right away. You have the 8 of Pentacles. Spirit said to take this upright, but also to pick some other cards before I say anything. From the card. Knight of Swords. 9 of Pentacles. Spirit said that was upright. Okay. Yeah. You are heading towards something that's going to appear out of nowhere, group number 3. Especially when it comes to something you're working on. You're working on something, you've been putting all of your energy into it. It's going to be birthed. And as soon as it's birthed, it's like all of a sudden wish fulfillment. It's like whatever you are working on right now. And it's funny because this card came out in reverse and Spirit said, take it upright, I like it upright. But Spirit is saying it's also the truth that it's reverse. I think I had that happen in group 1 too. But Spirit is saying here, you are working on something, and I'm getting a download right now. You are working on something and you're thinking it's not ready, but it's ready. It's been ready. And when you launch it, when you take it and you put it out and you start to look, this Knight of Swords and Mercury, it's saying, group number 3, when you launch this, when you take it out and make it public, oh my goodness, 9 of Pentacles, like wish fulfillment. All of your ship is coming in. Your ship is going to come in. And you're going to be very happy about this, group number 3. You really are. Because there's something inside of you that needs this next alchemical change to make to kind of seal this all. Because you are stepping into your divine inner wisdom. But there's certain steps you've got to take. And Spirit is saying here, whatever you've been working on. I mean, this person is working on a piece of art. But you could have been working on anything. And you're like, I don't think it's ready yet. I don't think I should announce this yet. I don't know. This couple of things are not perfect. And Spirit is saying it's perfect enough. Because people are going to receive this. And it's going to be like, I mean, literally, I think you're going to come down the hill like, I've got it. I've got this idea. And people are going to be like, yeah, we need this. And, you know, like, it's just going to go from there. It's going to be well received. And it is going to establish you, group number 3. Quite clearly. Spirit said to look on the bottom of the deck. Yeah. Look at that hard work that you've been putting in. And you're just waiting and waiting. But Spirit's saying, it's not that time anymore. You are ready. There are people who are even going to help you. Some close friends, colleagues, they're going to help you get it together. Maybe for some of you, you're opening up a shop, and let me know in the comments if you are, but you're opening up a shop and you're like, I got these walls to paint. I'm trying to figure out my product and how to wrap it. I mean, there's all these small little details, right? But Spirit is saying, bring in your friends. You've got friends who are good at accounting. You've got friends who can help you with marketing. You've got friends who can help you paint some walls. I mean, they're saying, don't become a victim to doing it all on your own. I'm just going from the bottom of the deck here. And it's like, don't become a victim of doing it all on your own. Whatever you need to accomplish, it's necessary, because this is waiting for you. Quite literally, group number 3. This is waiting for you. So all hands on deck. No more juggling, because Spirit is saying, right here, you've got it. Wheel of Fortune. All right? It's coming for you. It's coming for you. It's here. It's arrived. Okay, group number 3. If you resonated with any or part of this reading, could you give me a thumbs up? Or if you want and you like my reading style, please consider subscribing to this channel. I do readings once a week, and we deep dive a lot, and I love staying connected to my community because they give me obviously the greatest themes for these readings, and I appreciate and love you all. Until my next reading, take care, my honeys.